get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
What does diversity mean to you? Who'd like to go first?
Inspired by you, Iffat. It's 7, isn't it?
9.
9, sorry. So constantly learning by the people around you. Your diversity to me means those 9 factors that you keep, that you can reel off the top of your head from 1 to 9.
Well, there's 6. There's 6 that form the strand within there are 6 strands, sorry, to the Equality Act in the UK. I need to read up on across the pond laws. But the 6 are age, race, religion, gender, sexuality or sexual orientation, and disability. So they're the 6 that form the strands, and then there are 9 protected characteristics. So it goes on, and you can go on from that as well, actually. But what does it mean to you in terms of day-to-day, or in terms of work, or what does that look like for you? Is it something that you I mean, you've been involved for 22 years now, right? Congratulations. How have you seen that change in your 22 years involved?
The guys have already said it. You've just got to always be learning, right? You know, we've all made mistakes. As Tim referred to, using a phrase that he stopped using once he realised the error of his ways, and I've done that. Not about race, but I've used a phrase that I've stopped myself and paused and thought, no, you don't use that kind of language anymore. And as long as you're woke and awake to what's going on and aware of other people's feelings, as Brock said, I like people, despite what I say a lot. I do like people. I like being around people. So if you respect people,
You're allowed to say I like some people. We don't have to like everybody, right, in the world. That's also the beauty of being.
I didn't think we were talking about Kev today. I was told we're not talking about Kev.
Well, Brock just said the lazy and the idiots, right? It's them that we don't. But yeah, we like some people, right? And you just got to sort of do your best to be respectful of everyone around you. And it really is as simple as that for me.
Yeah.
And I don't favour one over another. Just be respectful to everyone around you, regardless of their position, their role, where they come from, their pay grade, anything.
Chris,
Even the stupid ones.
We are all privileged together as a group that we live in a place that we are able to freely travel and move about. Because ultimately, you know, if this was 500 years ago, you couldn't just get on a plane and go. 300 years ago, you couldn't just get on a plane and go. There's an entire world where we can go experience different cultures and different people and understand their way of living.
300 days ago, we couldn't get on a plane here. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. Well, okay, so let's eliminate the last 2 years because times have been kind of weird. But prior to that, we were able to go, right? You know, even Tim with his big dumb American conversation, we got to go to Amsterdam together. We got to go to London together. You know, I go to Amsterdam and I'm looking for Amsterdam, traditional Amsterdam something. And there was nothing traditional Amsterdam. It was, I had to go to, you know, a restaurant of a different culture that I can go in Jersey. I'm like, wait, where is the, you know, what is Amsterdam?
Stroop waffles 100%.
Stroop waffles, yes, but I want to kind of, okay, so my funny story about the culture, I guess, is that what we Americans call light beer and what the Dutch consider light beer is 2 different things. I said light beer and they brought me something that was light in color, but heavy on everything else. Because yes, everybody thought it was fun and funny that Chris ordered a light beer and I had to run it through a strainer because it was God, that thing hit hard. So yeah,
and Chris walking back to the apartment afterwards was the better part of that story.
Walking is a bit of a stretch, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? We are fortunate in that we live in a world that we can move, or live in countries that allow us to move around.
Tim, I just wanted to ask you in terms of, I remember in that panel a couple of years ago now, where you spoke about it earlier, where you recognised that there had been nobody of colour on your panel. Have you opened that up so it's not just people of colour, but are you looking at the other? I guess age is a fairly easy one to hit, but are you looking at other? Are you actively or proactively looking at the other strands of equality in your panels in terms of disabilities or gender reassignment or anything like that? Are you looking, because what I'm getting at, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, is really, are we encouraging diversity of thought? And we can only encourage diversity of thought if we're engaging with people who have diversity of thought. And that doesn't mean it doesn't look like this group.
So to answer your question directly, I am not actively going after folks who are gender diverse, right? Or I shouldn't say gender diverse, but are transgender or, you know, homosexual, gay, lesbian, any of those. And I'm not, because there's a couple different reasons. We actually last year, we in conjunction with SCN did a number of interviews on Black History Month here in the States, right, in February. And part of that conversation led to talking to folks in the LGBTQ community for June. And I got some pushback, right, from folks that I personally know, and not going to talk about those specifically. I personally know that are in that community, and they did not want to make that part of their profession. And I'm trying to say this very respectfully.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I get that. So yes, there have been people from that community on our shows. It's not part of that part of their identity. They choose not to make part of their profession. Yeah. And I respect that. I don't say, you know, hey, here's this person who is, you know, who happens to be gay, and it's also just to kind of say, okay, we're checking a box. They are, right, and that, you know, and they happen to be on our show. So I'm not actively seeking that out because of the experience that I have. Somebody can tell me that I'm wrong, right, and I'll have that conversation with them. As far as disability, no, right, either physical or mental. However, there are folks, again, that have been on the show that are, right, and are very open about that, and you know, and so it's not something that I'm actively going after. And you know, if somebody wants to have a conversation with me and say, hey, this you might want to reconsider that, I'm open to that conversation. I'm not saying that this is the edict and it's written in stone, right?
And I think you appreciate this, Iffat, because we've had this conversation before. You don't want to be invited because you're this characteristic or that characteristic or this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think, you know, I think Tim is looking at visible, identifiable differences, but there's a lot of folks that don't want a label on their forehead, and they certainly don't want to be appreciated just for a label. In fact, it's their business.
And therein lies one of the biggest answers, if you like, to the question, because I think there was a recording a while ago, and I think I counted how many times I used the word label, and it was way too many. But as humans, we do like to label people. We like to know what somebody is, which box can we put them in. It's just natural curiosity. But to know that you've been asked to be on a panel because you tick a box, and that was why I wasn't trying to catch you out or put you on a spot there. I was just interested. Is that a thing? Has that become noticed in the same way that the colour issue was noticed? Has it?
It has never been put to me.
I'm glad that it hasn't, and I'm also glad that that's become, even the colour label, if you like, has become a natural thing for you now. Mm-hmm. It happens organically.
Hang on for a second. It hasn't, though, right? The people of color has not yet, and I say that being honest about who, you know, kind of where I am in my journey in that is, number one, there's not a lot of people of color in the industry, right? Just like there's not a lot of women in the industry. And so I still have to actively seek out folks that look differently than me, right? Now there will come a time, and there will come a time in the future where it will become natural, right? Where my network will have expanded to the point where I can just start grabbing people. I can look at the list and go, okay, this is diverse, and it's smart people, and this, that, and the other.
And so
but
it's
I
not
think
the same
that we'll get
people
there.
again and again, right?
Yes.
This is the other thing, that actually often you see the same people, and sometimes I do think people are sick of my face as well, but here I am, and but it is the same people again and again. And I mean, one thing I'm doing, and videos that I've got coming out, are actually people that I don't think many people will have heard from. They're absolutely fantastic, but I'm looking for people to have conversations with who are under the radar and who wouldn't normally actually come forward. But you're absolutely right, it's a mission to seek those people out, because the easy thing is to pick from the top, pick who's visible, who wants to be out there, who wants to actually, and who's comfortable being recorded. That's a whole nother level.
Baby.
And especially on this topic, who wants to be recorded talking about something that they're not comfortable with, or they're comfortable with, but they really don't want to share. So it's a challenge ahead, and all of you have absolutely pushed me out of my comfort zone, because if a few years ago someone had said to me that I would be talking about diversity, inclusivity, or equity in any shape or form, I would have said no. And I remember somebody who was very dear to me saying, when I had said that you'd invited me on the show, Tim, that was my first panel, but that's your thing. And he saw it as my thing, to which I think I've shared this before as well, and that really stuck with me. I didn't respond at the time, but I thought, why is it my thing? It should be everybody's thing, right? We're all human. So it's not just my thing, it's everyone's thing. Caring about each other as human beings should be everybody's thing. And looking for equity and seeking an equitable environment for each other is not on my watch, it's actually on everybody's. And that's the aim. So I'm going to wrap it up there.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play